Okay, let's begin then. Francisco, it's your turn.
Okay, so today, as we have in our calendar, today I'm the one leading the meeting. Today we are talking about JavaScript events. And well, let's start here in the w3school.com website. We have some of the events. Are you recording my screen?
I don't see your screen right now.
Okay, sure. Let me my desktop now.
Yes, I can see the screen now.
Okay, is that the one that we are recording?
Sorry?
Could you see my? Uh, could you see the website,
Yes,
Marvin?
yes, I see it now.
The website. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that we are recording uh, the proper screen, because last time we were just talking and none of the screens that we were sharing was recorded. Okay, so um, JavaScript can execute code. It can execute functions when event occurs. Like for example, when you click a button and you want one function to be executed, and that is called an event. So there are different kind of events in JavaScript, well, generated in HTML by the different elements in HTML that can trigger functions in JavaScript. For example, the easy one is this example. Uh, when you click on this button, this code is executed. So um, 2 weeks ago, Natalie told us about inner HTML. She was talking about this, and now what we are using that inner HTML in conjunction with this event. When the on-click event, when the click event happens, this code is executed. Uh, in this example, we are writing the code inside this inside this just assigning this line directly to the on-click event, but also we can create a function and have a more complex example like this. So instead of assigning the code directly to on-click, we are creating a function and the result is the same. There are different events that we can take advantage of. For example, onload. This onload event happens when when the element, in this case, when the body is loaded in the browser. So this function check cookies will be triggered just like this. So let me run this, and we have cookies enabled, but let me change this and have an alert. Just display hello run. So I just loaded the page, the website one time, and we have this alert displaying hello. Okay, are you there? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Um,
I'm listening.
okay. So if you have any question, just let me know. For
Okay.
example, we can use these events when we have a form and we want to validate on the fly what the user is entering, or we want to modify uh, on the fly. So in this example, I'm gonna type mm, something, and when I leave the text field, this function is executed and everything that I enter is uppercase. That is unchanged. And this is another on mouse over, on mouse out. So we can add some animations to our buttons when we have the mouse over one button. For example, we can have like this animation that we have in this website. You can see this glow around this grid button. That is done in this way using the on mouse over event. The same for this. This is for catching clicks on mouse down and on mouse up and on click. So I click and I change that. So let me so I'm clicking and releasing on mouse up and down.
That is very interesting. I like that because you can. That was actually what Natalie was talking about the last meeting we had, right? You can control objects like CSS objects using these events.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. That is what is happening in this event, in this example. The HTML is changed and the text inside this div is being changed to release me and thank you, but also the style, and that is the CSS, is changing. The background color is changing. So here we have another list of events that we can use. Um, in my project, I'm using onload. This one. Okay. And I'm using this onload event because when I load my website, I want to share the same footer and the same header across all my web pages. But if I want to change or modify something, um, I just want to modify that in one place and not uh, need to go to different websites.
So all of the
So let
pages.
me show exactly. Let me show what I'm doing.
Okay.
So could you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can see it.
So this is the project that I'm working on, yeah, and this is the footer. You can see it's published May 2017, and the copyright by me. Okay, and in this is the index page. Let me show you what I have in my index page. Okay, in my index page, I have this this footer with ID footer, and I have the onload this function and passing this ID. So in my head, I have link this HTML file with this JavaScript file. This is the JavaScript file. So I'm taking one parameter, passing this one parameter, and this is the ID of the element that I'm interested in. So I get that element, and I set this inner HTML, and this is the text that I have that I want here. So in my onload, when I load this page, I will set this footer every time. So in that way, if I need to change the footer for all my pages, I just need to go and change this one function, and that's it. So let's see what happened. Okay, this is another page, and I'm using the same approach. Footer with ID footer, and body load set footer, passing this parameter, and in head linking the same JavaScript file. So here on my right, I have my demo. So if I go to login, you will see the same footer. Okay, so now let's edit this. Let's add another paragraph. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, why is not changing? Are you there, Marvin?
Yes, I'm here. So what is the name of the function set footer?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same name with the onload
Yep.
on the HTML page? Is it the same with the body onload, the event?
Yep. The same.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Just let me open the file. Oh, here. So, okay. 1 second. In this tab, I'm using. I have this environment in my, because I'm using PHP.
Okay.
I'm using this environment to
Oh, the
test
Apache,
my app.
right?
Exactly. Yeah, but that's the reason I was refreshing. Okay, now it's working. So sometimes it takes a little time
Right.
to update this, but you can see now I have this hello that I
Exactly.
added to these functions, and now if I go to login, you see the
Right.
same hello. Okay. um, okay, now if I remove this, and I save the file. Let me refresh. Now that is gone. If I go to login, yeah, it's gone there too.
Right.
So that is one of the approach that I'm using for having the same footer. Also, I will use the same header, and I'm working on that. So I will have some function like this, like set uh, header, passing the ID, and
Okay, just one question, Francisco.
uh-huh.
But you say you're still using PHP, or just
Mhm.
you're just creating a function with
No,
the
I'm using I'm
HTML
using
tags?
P, I'm
Uh-huh.
using PHP for another thing. I'm using
Oh, okay,
PHP
okay.
for because I'm connecting this to a
A
database.
database. Okay.
The database stuff is done using PHP.
Okay, okay. Okay.
So when I enter this number, this file, and I click search, this is what is happening. Let me show you. So I have this lookup function,
Right.
uh-huh, and I'm reading what I have in this text field,
Okay.
that is file, and I pass in that file to this request, and this lookup dot php is the one connecting to the database
Right.
and displaying and returning this table. So I'm firing this request, and once the request is done,
Okay. Looks like Francisco got disconnected. Let's just wait for a little.
hi Marvin, I'm back.
Oh, Francisco. Okay, there you are.
So what was the last thing that I said because I was talking alone. I didn't
Oh,
realize that I disconnect
really?
until
Okay, okay, okay.
I got your email. So what was the last thing
No,
that
you
I
were
was
showing me
telling?
this, showing this part where you are using the PHP code to connect to the database.
Oh yes. Okay. Don't unmute yourself because in
Okay,
that way I can hear some noise, and in that way I can know that if
that
I'm
I'm
still
here.
connected, because I'm switching to another screen, to another
Okay,
desktop.
okay.
So could you see my my project?
Not
Yep.
yet.
Okay. Oh, let me share. Okay. Now
Yes, I can see your screen now.
now can you see my
Yes,
website? Okay.
yes,
So I was telling that the when I click on this button, you can see that I'm using on click event. So it's
yes.
calling this lookup function, and that lookup function is in this lookup.js file,
Okay,
and I'm using get element by ID in my HTML. Let me display. Okay, here. So in my HTML, the one that I have on the left, I have one div with ID response. This one, okay.
okay,
So first, I get the field number. The field number is in this input with ID field number. So I get the value from that element, and assign that value to this variable called a string. If the string is empty, then I assign to response this field number string. Okay, and let me show that. So now the text field is empty, and I click search, and I have this field number missing. That's the
mm,
text that I have here. So
oh,
when the when the when I'm passing an actual field number, for example 5, I'm executing this request. So the request is the connection to the database is done by this another script, this lookup.php file, and that's the reason I'm using PHP. So I'm passing this field number. It's a get request, and once the request is done and I get a status equal to 200, I assign the response to the same div, to the same div which with ID response. Okay, so for example, this I know that in the database I have one field number, one field with number 5. So and I get this. So now I don't have 55. I get this.
yeah,
Okay,
Sifana.
so that is coming from this lookup PHP.
Okay,
Uh, on my left, let me show you the PHP file, and it is this. I'm uh, calling this, including this con PHP file. Inside this another PHP file, I have the connection to the database,
right.
and I'm using the connection, executing this query.
The query.
If I have the query, if when I query, if I get say, 0 rows, here is when I'm displaying
Film not. Oh, film
f-
found.
field not found. If I get uh, 1 row, then I'm
Hmm.
displaying this table. So I'm passing this HTML. Yeah, and
Right.
that's the way that is working the database connection. But the thing that we are now interested in is all these events on click, on load. Yep.
Right.
These are uh, we are studying this week. Okay. One interesting thing that we need to pay attention. For example, at the beginning, I was using this onload. Let me move this onload to the footer. Okay. So basically, when you have when the body is loading, the footer it's supposed to load too. Okay. So my idea at the beginning was, okay, I'm gonna assign this onload function directly to the footer. But okay, let me save that and let me run it. It's not happening. As you can see, I don't have the footer here.
Right. Yes.
But it's calling the onload. So I uh, found out that the onload function is not supported by all the elements.
HTML tags or HTML
Yeah,
elements.
exactly. Yeah, it's not supported by all the HTML tags, only by body, frame, iframe, image, links,
Input.
input, type image, script, and style.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the reason that onload uh, being used in this footer doesn't work. So I need to put it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed that in the beginning that you had the beginning of the body, and there is where you were loading the footer. I was going to
Uh-huh.
ask you about that, but now you have answered.
So now, if you have a header,
Right.
so you can add another function here, like set. Uh, oh, set header. Um, ID. Okay. So um, so you can see that my header is gone. Yep.
Right.
Okay. Let me. It's because I already have this HTML code, but let me in my function when I'm loading, even though I at the beginning I have this HTML code, when I'm loading, I'm assigning nothing. So that's the reason the header is gone. So let's move this to here. Um, okay, now let me run it again. Yep, that's
Uh,
it.
right.
Okay,
Okay.
so I can come and edit this header, and if I want to share this the same header across all my web pages, I just need to come and edit. And you can have these two functions, and these two functions will be executed once the body is loaded. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
You have any question?
Yes. Do you have any example of um, what's hold on. Any example of an event for mobile device?
Well, these events are supported in mobile devices.
Mobile device. Okay.
Hmm.
Or, or any
Or
that
what do you
is
mean?
especially. I mean, any event is that is special or designated for
Specific, that is
specific
specific for.
for mobile device mobile devices. uh,
Mm,
for example, I was remembering that I saw one with this when I tried Cordova for example,
uh-huh.
and I remember there is one uh, event.
What event?
uh, let me see if I can remember, or I can just load it really quick.
Okay, these are some of the events,
Hmm. Hmm.
and some of the HTML events that we can use. For example, related to mouse, all these
Okay.
events related to keyboard, related to the frame, to the to forms. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To when dragging,
Okay.
when
Okay.
copying,
Dragon.
when printing, when some media events, some animation events, some transitions, some server sent events, mhm,
Okay.
touch events.
Um,
Mm,
let me
yeah, what other
for
kinds of events?
example, I have an example here. Let me show you my screen real quick.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So I have because this is like I was using I think this is PhoneGap. So I still have this piece of code, and example, I got this variable which is called app, and I have initialized as a function this that bind event, right? So in
Mm-hmm.
this bind event, I have a which is called device ready, and this dot on device ready, and then I have let me see. Okay, right here, received event. So these are like especially for mobile device. So
For
when the yeah, for example, the event when it device is ready. I remember one event. I don't have it right here anymore, but it was about the camera. I already deleted that one because I wasn't using it. But it was especially for how to use the camera. There was an event for the mobile device for the camera for the device. So um, and I understand what you were saying, that these events you were explaining they work on mobile devices.
mhm.
But I was just wondering if there are some events that are specific for mobile devices. So I'm not sure if this is what we're talking about. If this is what, like for example, right here it says that standard JavaScripts, including those for mobile devices. So I was wondering if these are those kind of events which are device ready and like listeners and so initialize,
Okay,
for example. So
let me see. In jQuery, we have some events. Um, okay, let me share my screen, or you can open this link. Mm, let me send you the link to the chat. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
jQuery
continue
event.
sharing your screen.
Okay. jQuery. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Bind. Okay. This is what I had before.
Uh-huh.
The event current target event data. The target. Okay.
Are these the one that you were talking about?
Um. I think. it was. I was just wondering because in the subject for this week it says that the topics we were going to have it the standard JavaScript events, which you already have included in the conversation, and then it says including those for mobile devices.
Okay. And they have on
Example,
example on touch
yeah,
begin.
on touch, begin,
Okay.
unload, and animations and transitions events. So I was showing you before those kind of events. For example, the bind event listeners. It says bind any events that are required on startup. Common events are load, device ready, offline, and online. Those are kind of like these kind of events, especially for mobile devices. And of course those it's right here in the on the Excel file, which is on touch, begin, unload, etc. Okay, and then animations and transition events. But I think we have them
So
there.
this is another. Let me send you. Uh, okay. So it's another one.
Okay. Okay, global event handler and touch start.
These are another events.
Right.
So for example, look for offline.
Offline.
Uh,
Mm,
just type Control F. Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
you don't.
This event is fire. Uh-huh.
Right. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Okay. This is good website for Mozilla developer Mozilla.org. Okay. Great.
So we in this web page you also have on go back
Okay.
another one.
Hmm.
This is on touch start.
Yes. Function start touch. Okay. Function init. Let me target one. Okay. That is exactly, yeah, what I was talking about, because those are especially for mobile devices. Okay. We haven't touch on touch cancel. Okay. All right. Great. Thank you for the link.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. So uh, any other question?
No, I don't think I have any more question. I'm gonna have to go ahead and study those
Yeah.
and put them into practice on my own app.
Something that I So in your code,
Okay.
uh, it's 1 second. Mm, this add event listener.
Okay.
So uh, can I share my screen?
Yes, sure.
Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so listener, you can add events to uh, elements in your HTML file, the same way that we can inner HTML or read an attribute or change the style. We can
Okay.
add listeners. For example, for this button, uh, for the click event, we are assigning this function display date. Uh,
Okay.
the difference with this approach is we don't have to include the on. We just pass click, no, not on click. We
Okay.
remove the on
Right.
and we add function. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Um, and we cannot pass parameters in this in with this approach. For example,
Okay.
if this example, uh, we are assigning this function that is displaying this alert, but the alert requires one string as a parameter, but we cannot pass. So what we are the approach that we can have in this case is having this anonymous function and passing the parameters inside this function,
Okay.
inside this anonymous function. Mhm. Okay,
Okay.
so now let me, okay, let me comment this. Uh, let me on click. Uh, uh, yep. So you can see using the on click, uh,
Mm-hmm.
we can pass parameters to the function. But when we use the uh, add event listener, we cannot pass parameters. So in that case, we need an anonymous function, and inside the anonymous function, we call the actual function that we want to execute, and we pass the parameters to that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. I think it
Yep.
does.
So, uh, but one of the advantage is that we can remove uh, listeners. Once we are done with that event, we can remove that listener from that element. That is one
Okay.
of the advantage. So we cannot pass parameters, but we can add and remove event listeners as we want.
Okay.
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 Mhm. And the other thing is mm, the ways that we can capture we have bubbling and event bubbling and event capturing. So with with bubbling, the innermost element
Okay.
event is handled first, and with
Okay.
capturing is the opposite. Okay, by default is bubbling, uh, and that is false. But if we pass through, that is capturing.
Okay.
Mhm. So bubbling is the innermost, and capturing is the outermost element.
Uttermost. All right.
Okay,
Okay.
so that is another thing to pay attention to.
Okay.
Okay, yep, and that's it.
All right. Excellent.
That's all that I have for today.
All right.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Okay, Francisco. So I think we pretty much covered all what we
Okay,
had today. So thank you very much, Francisco, for your presentation. I learned a lot.
okay, you're welcome.
All right, Francisco.
Okay,
So I'm going to start the transmission right now. Okay. Thank you.
okay.